The symbiotic model, this is an interesting one that we see with some frequency now. In order to sustain the innovation and ensure its adoption and spread, the social entrepreneur creates both a for-profit company and a not-for-profit organization. The financial resources generated by the company are partly invested to spread the innovation to those who can't afford to pay market rates for the product or the service. Now, the symbiotic model, don't be fooled, it differs from corporate social responsibility, because the companies practicing corporate social responsibility are first and foremost set up to maximize profits, and subsequently are usually compelled to set up an affiliate foundation, and many of those foundations that they set up support charitable efforts that have little to do with the company's areas of expertise. The social entrepreneur, however, sets up the symbiotic effort as a primary motive because they have a primary motive to spread the product or the service to the poor rather than profit maximization at the cost of social and environmental goals. The social entrepreneur is completely immersed in both organizations, and his or her company is locked into promoting the social mission. An example of this is the Free Play Energy Group. Free Play is a publicly listed company. Its core purpose is to provide access to energy to everyone all of the time. Rory Steer is a South African who founded the company, first and foremost to address the whole issue of illiteracy and lack of information in all of, especially sub-Saharan Africa. Now, Free Play started developing low-cost, effective, sturdy, self-powered radios that would open up the whole world of information to isolated and impoverished communities, especially in the Middle East and Africa. So it's one of these self-powered radios that you wind up with your own power, and just a few minutes of winding provides hours of listening. Free Play radios don't require any kinds of batteries, and now he's patented the wind-up technology and applied it to torches, water purifiers, cell phone chargers, and fetal monitoring instruments. Now, Rory couldn't afford to produce and distribute those to his target population, the poor, and continually financially survive and grow. So, although that was his burning mission, he had to find a way to accomplish it. Fortunately, something very gratuitous and fortunate happened, which was that he discovered that the Free Play products were wildly popular in North America and Europe among outdoor aficionados who would buy these and were actually buying and making a substantial profit for the company. So Free Play has been able to benefit from the high volume of sales to affluent populations, and that profit has allowed it to develop and improve its products and to establish the Free Play Foundation, which buys the radios at a subsidized rate for humanitarian and development efforts. Now, the company has sold more than 4 million products worldwide, and the foundation has distributed more than 500,000 of those products to isolated rural populations through aid agencies. The last models are the hybrid models. And the first of these is the one that I find that is really where the most of the organizations that I've just had a very brief glance at here in Singapore are now beginning to start. And that's this nonprofit hybrid. Because of market failures, the profits from the provision of goods and services that these organizations are providing aren't enough. They aren't significant enough to spread the innovation. So the social entrepreneur forms a nonprofit in order to mobilize funds and then actually works with other subsidiaries that it's set up to produce profits to generate funds for the organization. Benetic was an example of the kind of nonprofit hybrid that I referred to earlier, and many of those that I've seen here, as I said, are in this nonprofit hybrid. And there's one more, which is the for-profit hybrid. After an initial outlay of capital, and Easy Being Green was an example of this, the profit can actually support the spread of the model and can attract private investment. The example also included PeopleTree. To me, this for-profit hybrid model is the really exciting next step, if I would, or evolution to the notion of social entrepreneurship, because it's actually flipping around the known models on their heads, so that rather than setting up a business to generate profits first and foremost, and then figuring out, oh dear, what do I need to be socially and environmentally responsible? How do I do that? Social entrepreneurs are setting up for-profit organizations whose bottom lines are social and environmental transformation, and profits are a means to the ends to get there. I really think that one might go so far as to say that these models are the harbingers of where capitalism is headed, given the powerful social, political, economic, and environmental trends that are creating some of the greatest tensions, but also the greatest market opportunities in our world's history. So how do you tell a social entrepreneur for the rest of well-meaning people in the world that want to do good? First of all, social entrepreneurs are mavericks. The examples I've given you, and many others, are all the more amazing because every one of those entrepreneurs achieved their objectives initially with minimal or no financial backing. In our sophisticated institutionalized sectors today, sight has been lost of the scale to which one person can create social change and the minimum amount of euros or dollars required to achieve